Hey everyone, just a quick update. I know I'm a few days late, but that's because my previous video I have talked about the new Star Wars game and how this is gonna affect the new Battlefield. But basically, Battlefield Campaign Studio Ridgeline Games is being closed. And I want to get into my own thoughts on it. What does this mean for the next Battlefield game? I mostly haven't been covering Battlefield 2020-42 because it just didn't make that much sense to me. I still kind of enjoy the game. I prefer the older Battlefields. I'm very truthful. It's not because of the developers. It's not because anything bad happened or because the game is bad. Not bad in my opinion. It's actually kind of above average now. It's because I prefer older Battlefield games. But the most important factor here is the project was one of the 3 Star Wars games that was canceled, but also Ridgeline Games, which started in 2022, just before we got Battlefield 2042, and you all guys remember the hype. This was absolutely one of the biggest hypes and one of the sadly biggest flops also, I would say, in 2022. Development of the single-player campaign he was heading up at Ridgeline Games will now be moved to Criterion. So this still means that the Battlefield campaign might be happening. But I don't think it's going to be extensive. I think it's going to be on some form of Call of Duty level style. So in my honest opinion, what most people are looking for in Battlefield games right now is the nostalgia of playing Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 campaign when you just hopped on, shot a few bad guys, went straight for home, took the heli back, Battlefield Bad Company 2 vibes, right? You guys get it. But here right now, in the modern era of 2024, 10 years later, more people care about multiplayer than Battlefield single player. Now, we saw Call of Duty. Are people talking about Call of Duty single player campaign being awesome? Sure, it's a good addition. It's a good cake next to your main meal. But what most people are interested in is actually the core mechanics, the multiplayer, the battle royale. Why are people so excited for, Call of Duty right now? It's not because of the campaign, because the campaign is probably like, on some YouTube videos and then later gets probably just thrown away in the trash because everyone has already played it. And then we also have, the multiplayer. Yes, you have a lot of people playing multiplayer, and this is another great aspect to it. But the thing that people are really excited for is their free-to-play Warzone. Now, Warzone is loved by millions, if not billions, of players. And that, to me, just tells and screams that people are mostly looking forward for multiplayer, and they're looking at campaigns as a side mission or as a DLC of sorts. And this is what I think Battlefield is doing as well. They're not going to be focusing so much on single player as much as they're going to be focusing on multiplayer. And I think this is another thing, they got to cut costs. They got to take that 5% off the force, which is very unfortunate news for anyone working at EA. I'm terribly sorry that happened. But Marcus Lehto left. Development of the single-player campaign he was heading at Ridgeline Games has now moved to Criterion. So right now, I don't even think that, this single-player campaign is going to be such a priority. I still think it could be really good, but I don't think it's the main thing right now. I haven't reported why Marcus left because I don't know his reason. It could be literally anything. It could be he was offered a job elsewhere. I know a lot of content creators or anyone in general was making content on why the CEO, co-creator who is working on S Battlefield has seemingly left the franchise at EA. Battlefield's narrative element. This was the single player element, but I think we're going to be seeing more of multiplayer going forward. I don't necessarily think live service would be the best thing for Battlefield, but it's definitely something that's most profitable in long term if you make a good Battlefield game. I'll definitely keep you guys updated with more news on that. Be sure to smash that like button. Peace, everyone.